Well, hello, and welcome to day 3 of LinkedIn Bootcamp. I hope you guys have been having fun, really just updating your profiles, working on your headlines, really tightening up your summaries, and working to be succinct and attractive to your ideal client. That's been the goal in the first couple of days of boot camp, right? The goal is that when we begin to connect and attract and recruit a new network, we want to make sure that we are representing ourselves in the best version that's clear and defined as to what our value proposition is, what we do, what we have to offer. So hopefully you guys are working through that. And today is going to be all about connecting. I am going to be sharing with you guys today all the good stuff, all the tactics, the techniques I have used to grow and expand my network with a very specific type of prospect that I'm looking to offer my services to from a coaching perspective or to recruit into my network marketing business. And so you'll get to take a little peek behind the curtain with my strategies. What I want you to keep in mind is I know that a portion of my business is network marketing. And so you're going to see some of the verbiage and tactics I'm using to recruit for my network marketing company. But what I want you to keep in mind is that regardless of your service or product, you can use all these techniques and tactics. And I'm also going to be releasing to you guys today the scripts and the verbiage for you for your reference in growing and expanding your network via email. So without further ado, I want to jump right into growing your network, okay, and expanding that number of people that you are connected with. So why do we want to grow our network? There's a couple of key things in when we discuss this. Number one is the more people you are connected to, the more access you have to other people's networks. So as we build rapport, and I'm going to talk through the techniques on this, but as you grow your network and your network makes comments, what's going to fill your feed is where your network is making comments and likes and sharing information from within their networks. So what happens is they're bringing their network to you on a tray, an entree, a platter just running through your feed. And you're going to get to play with deciphering through some of that information and some of those connections if they're people that you also want to befriend and connect with and make them a part of your network. Secondly, you want influencers within your network because they have broad networks with huge visibility. And if you build relationships and rapport with them, when they like or comment on anything that you put out, it broadcasts to their entire network. If they've got thousands upon thousands of people in their network, it's going to be visible to them. I'm going to share with you some examples of this in just a minute. Also, it's important if you're selling a service or a product that you have a network to sell to, right? So we're not going to be overtly selling on LinkedIn. We have very professional tactics to really discover the ideal client. However, you have to have a network to sell to. You have to have a network to connect with and to be able to offer services to. So the larger the right network is, and I say right because we don't just want to connect with everyone, right? You want it to be the right network for your niche, your business. And so that when you're filling your feed with content and information, you're becoming first to mind for your network, for the services and the value proposition that you offer. Also, it makes you look more credible. So when people go to your profile and see that you've hit that magic number of 500 plus, which is what I'm going to be coaching you guys to exceed, it just shows that you have a lot of connections and you're well connected and that you're active. People are going to want to connect with you because you are well connected, okay? Also, because you can only see the full profile, and we talked about this the other day, you can only see the full profile of people that you are a second degree or more connected too. So if you want access to see profiles, you've got to have a large network to have access to see those profiles, okay? So I want to dig in and share with you guys some scenarios. I talked about influencers and how they have large visibility and networks that can create exposure for you. So what I would like to do now is I'm going to share with you my screen. I'm going to expand my LinkedIn account. And what I'm going to do is I want to share with you some examples. So I'm going to click on notifications. And I'm going to scroll down. So these are notifications of like my activity and people on my network and things that they've commented and talked about. One of the things I want to bring to mind is I made a post a couple of weeks ago. It was a week ago. So let me go find it because this is an incredible example. I made a post. Let's find it. It's going to be here in just a minute. All right, here it is. All right, I'm going to click on this post. So this is a really good coaching example for you guys on a number of different platforms, okay? I made this post 1 week ago. And what I want you to see that's really fascinating about this post is as I scroll down, you will see that I have 3,181 views. That means over 3,000 people looked and read this post. I don't have 3,000 people in my network. I have about 1,900. So how does that happen? This is the power of being connected with influential people. The other thing I want you to see about this post is that when I click on reactions and you look at the people who liked my post, the first handful of people are all first degree. But what happened, guaranteed, and when you scroll down, I have a ton of second connections. So that means I'm not personally connected with all these people I'm scrolling down to. Do you see? There's a third connection, second connection, second connection. These people were exposed to my post because someone that I'm personally a first degree connection with, who's clearly very influential and has a large network, either liked or commented on this post. And when they did that, my post came up in their feed. So I hope this is making sense. My post came up in their feed, a highly influential person with a very large network. Now what happens is people who value, trust, and follow that person are going to read what they like and comment and post about. So this person created a platform for me to reach thousands of new people potentially, okay? Over 3,000 new views and a dozen of new people who are second degree. Now, why this is important, I'm going to share some tactics with you right here, right now, right as we're getting started with training. Well, this post happens to be very focused on my industry and what I do today. So I'm going to read the post to you because you're going to get some coaching on this. But the key is to resonate and connect with your network and know their pain points and what they're looking for. So my post says, 5 years ago, I was waking up at 4:30 a.m. to get to the gym before getting some quick, rushed, sweet moments with my family, and then in the saddle all day, working to build someone else's dream. Next came 6 to 8 p.m. cram time. Cram in dinner, cram in homework, cram in baths, cram in some meaningful moments in life outside my career. Then after they were all tucked in, I'd power back up to work another hour or two building someone else's dream. Now, I wake up at 4:30 a.m. because I'm so freaking excited at what I'm working on, I can't sleep. I still work out, but it's in the middle of the day because I can. So it's a lifestyle post, right? I don't ask for time off for field trips with my kids or impromptu mani-pedis accompanied with champagne. The champagne didn't show up here in the middle of the day because, hell, I deserve it. I cuss a little bit on LinkedIn because I can. I don't report to anyone, and it's just part of my personality. You don't have to. I still work at night sometimes after they all go to bed, but it's building my dream with fellow dreamers. The fact that I've built a life by my design, a business I own, an income producing asset that allows me the freedom to play more than ever in the entrepreneurial space. Well, honestly, it's damn amazing and freaking me out a bit in a good way. So excited about what's ahead in 2020 with this amazing team. So what's critical about this post? What's critical about this post is that in the first sentence, I catch people's attention who are going to relate to me. Only the people who are going to relate to me. Only the people who are having to get up at 4:30 in the morning, who value taking care of themselves and exercising. And maybe they're a little bit bitter about it right now because their career is so all-consuming, it's the only time they have for themselves. And I'm also relating to the people who feel crammed with personal time with their family. And so this is going to resonate with specific people within my network that I would like to recruit for a secondary income stream to build with me a network marketing company, okay? So whatever your industry is, I want you to think about the pain points and the solutions and the problems that you can solve and how you're going to add value in your post to attract them to you. Because when I made this post, again, I've changed my title now that I'm working on the LinkedIn business at the moment. But typically, what is in this header underneath my name is something along the lines of being a corporate burnout, changing the future for motivated burnout professionals looking to squeeze the juice out of life. So when I make a post like this and a ton of people who are highly influential like and comment and support me, then other people that see my post are going to see my header, my clear, direct headline of what I do, what I have to offer, and it's going to bring me business, okay? So it's very important, the take-home message, it's very important to find some highly influential people within your network, establish rapport with them, support and comment their posts so that they reciprocate, so that your posts become landing in other networks that you have yet to discover. Now, my homework here, and what your homework is going to be when you have an out-of-the-park home run post like this, is that you're going to go to the reactions, and you see all these people down here that are not even in my network. I'm going to send them messages to connect. Not only am I going to send them messages to connect, so don't just stop there because that's what the amateur does. You're going to remind them how you know each other, right? So my message to them is going to say, here, let's just do it right now. You want to make it very personal and you want to connect with her. So when you connect, you want to send a message. So instead of just hitting the connect button, you want to personalize it. Okay, actually, yeah, you hit the connect button here. Yes, add a note. So don't make the amateur mistake of hitting send now because she's not going to remember you. She's not going to know why you're requesting to connect with her. You want to hit add a note. And I'm going to say, let's see. Myram, I'm going to remind her how we know each other. Thanks for the request. Thanks for the support on my post about entrepreneurship. I'd love to add you to my network. Okay. And then I'm going to sign it, Melissa. All right. So now I have sent that message to her. Now my homework, I had a lot of those, right? You want to send request to connect with personalized message and thank people for supporting your post. Okay, so that is LinkedIn 2.0. Amateurs just fire off request to connect. You want to thank people for their support. You can also take it another level depending on your business and depending on how aggressive you want to be. Since that post was about business and entrepreneurship and time freedom, I could have gone another step in that message and actually said, not only say thank you for your support, but ask her, is she open to additional income streams? Is she open to learning more about the opportunity, right? So you can open that door, right? So that is your discretion. It's totally up to you, okay? So that is my first example of really why you need to connect with people who are influential, how you need to capitalize on when people like and comment on your posts. Now, let's dive into, I'm just grabbing my notes here for a second. Let's dive into a little bit more of the logistics on regularly growing your connections. So I'm going to share with you guys a number of tactics that I take routinely throughout the week to grow my network. And I'm going to be, again, sharing with you guys scripts that you can use and leverage and tweak to make your own to grow your network. So there's a number of ways to grow your network. And number one is going to be that, LinkedIn is going to make recommendations about people who that you may connect with. And so you want to hit like the My Network button, okay? And when I hit the My Network button and I scroll down here, LinkedIn is saying, hey, look, here's some people that you may know because they're from Campbell University. So this is a good place to start to grow your network. Now again, amateur mistake would be to just hit connect. Do not do this. You want to be impressionable and you want to be memorable. Now, knowing my industry and what I'm about, I am a pharmacist who's also in entrepreneurship. So this woman is an owner of consulting for a company that she owns. So instead of hitting connect, don't make that mistake. Click the profile so that when you send a message, you can make it personal. I'm going to say add a note, and I'm going to say, hi, Angela. I see we have much in common, having gone to Campbell and also being women entrepreneurs. Whoops, I can't spell. And pharmacists. I'd love to add you to my network. Okay, so this makes it personal. I've looked at her profile. I see we have a lot in common. We both went to Campbell. We're both entrepreneurs. We're also both pharmacists. I'd love to add you to my network. So I'm going to send the invitation. She's going to be much more likely to accept. Also, now I'm more impressionable. I've already planted a seed in the back of her mind. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm running a business too, right? So that when I make a post, I'm going to be more memorable that, oh, there's that chick that just invited me to connect with her, okay? Now, I'm going to click back on my network because there's a couple of other ways to grow your network. So, and I'm going to give you guys a sheet on income producing activities. So don't worry about taking notes on doing all of this. I'm actually going to give you a check sheet of how to do this routinely to grow your business. Okay. So that was from Campbell. Now also LinkedIn is going to recommend people who live close to you, right? So I've got people in Charlotte. So if you're in real estate, this may be a great way for you to expand your network locally, right? I see that, let's see, let me just pick someone. Brian is an account manager in Charlotte. So I'm going to click on his profile. Remember, don't hit connect. And he also is at GlaxoSmithKline. So this is where we get to play what we have in common. I actually used to work at GSK, and that's probably why LinkedIn recognized we had a history together at a company, and we live here locally in Charlotte. You may want to connect, right? So now I'm going to hit the connect button, and I'm going to add a note, and I'm going to say, hi, Brian. I see we both live in Charlotte and have a history with GSK. I'd love to add, I'd love to add you to my network. Okay. So I'm going to send the invitation to him. Now, what's going to happen, you send people these invitations, it also not only, it makes it more personable, but then they're like intrigued, like, okay, who is this chick? It's going to prompt them, oh, she lives in Charlotte and she worked at GSK. It's going to prompt them to go look at your profile, right? Versus you just sending a request to connect and them hitting accept, right? Now, if you've done your homework and created a captivating profile, you may already be piquing their interest, right? And that's planting a seed and creating rapport and establishing your brand up front, okay? Now, let's go back to the network section. So they can make recommendations where you went to school. They can make recommendations where you live. They also can make recommendations of groups that you're both following. Another great place to go is to popular hashtags. And they also have more suggestions for you. So you can go to groups and hashtags. So yeah, if you've established your account, this is a great place for you to get started and growing your network. Now, word to the wise, if you're just sitting there on your phone, rapid fire sending connections, which I know you're not going to do because I told you they need to be personal, there's a limit. LinkedIn will capture when you've done that too many times and block you as spam and keep you from connecting with people for the rest of the day. They'll say you've hit your threshold. So that's another reason you don't just want to rapid fire be inviting people. Take your time, okay? Madupe, see, we went to Campbell University together, so Madupe, I'll have to send her a message in a little bit. Now, once you really get hustling and bustling and creating value and creating posts and you've got influential people who are commenting and liking, what's going to start happening is people are going to start requesting to connect with you because they see value in what you're providing to groups you're in and just the feed. So what I do here is I don't just accept request to connect. You have to make it personal, okay? So this guy is a marketing director, site and growth. So I always make sure for me and my business, I want to make sure they are in a country where I do business before I accept. And this guy is in India, and we are not in business in India. And so I'm going to ignore this because I just don't have the time or capacity to really give this guy some time, okay? Now I'm going to go back to my network. Now I'll look at Ryan. So what do we know about Ryan here? So he's a pharmacist. He also lives in Charlotte, and he's a photographer. So that's pretty cool. And he's got an Instagram handle that we can go check him out. And he's been there since just this past year. So he looks like he's been in pharmacy for quite some time. For me, this is an industry where I recruit a lot of burnout pharmacists. So I'm gonna accept the request. You guys are gonna get this verbiage. But what I want you to see here is when I hit accept, he shows up I'm gonna click on view profile so that I can send him a message. Now, I'm glad LinkedIn is doing this to me because I want you guys to recognize this because it acts funny sometimes. The system has not picked up that I actually accepted his request yet. So it's actually not showing that we're connected yet. And so it's not going to let me send a message, which is really a pain in the rear. But I'm glad it happened because I want to show this to you guys. So what I'm going to do is I simply am going to go back to the main page and see, sometimes this works. I can go back into my networks, click on connections, and see now he is showing up. Now, sometimes LinkedIn still acts funny. I'm going to try to hit send a message, and now it's going to let me send a message. So just recognize that sometimes there's a lag and you have to like sign out and sign back in. But you want to capture this immediately. You want to send the message immediately. You don't want to accept the request and then come in later. So I'm going to say, Ryan, thanks for the request to connect. Okay, now we're going to hit the commonality piece. I see we are both farm. You guys will see I'm not a great speller. Assist and live in Charlotte. Glad we could connect. And then this, guys, is the $1 million question. It brings me so much business. $1 million question that most people are skipping. I'm going to say, I'm always curious, what was it about my profile that piqued your interest to connect with me? Okay, Melissa, you're going to bring in so much business and great connections and conversation with people when you ask questions like this, because 9 times out of 10, you've posted something that just struck a chord with them, you're providing value with them, or they've seen your captivating profile and they want to learn more about you. So I'm going to fire that off to him. And what you're doing as I'm making these connections is, as you do this routinely and daily, you're going to begin to create a pipeline of conversation. You're going to begin to create a pipeline of future prospects, and you're going to be busy. Your messages are going to be full. Requests to connect are going to be full. LinkedIn's going to be requesting, suggesting connections for you, and you are going to be on fire. Okay. Okay. What else do we have? The other thing that I think is really important is to seek out and find influencers within your field and follow them. And because influencers in your field are going to attract potential clients, and you want to be in that banter and conversation so that you can kind of connect and cross recruit. So Susan Sly is just like top dog at Isagenix. She's an incredible entrepreneur, keynote speaker, podcast host, author, right? So I am going to follow her for sure. So what happens when I follow her is that I can see conversation and comments. Now, what's interesting, as popular as she is, her LinkedIn page is really not that active. To see how she's just got like 1 like here. So that's interesting. And that, guys, if you're in network marketing, this should like light you up. Okay. Why should this light you up? Because the top network marketers have not tapped into LinkedIn to recruit for the business, which is insane to me. I know this LinkedIn training is beyond just network marketing, but I'm also going to be sharing with you guys some scripts if you're recruiting for business. That's such a phenomenal platform to be playing in because people here are open and interested, and top network marketers are not leveraging it, okay? So you may want to find some influential people within your industry and be sure to follow them so that you can get into conversations with thought leaders within their posts that come through your feed. And also because they may share content that you find really valuable that you can share with your network. Okay, so where are some other examples? So I want to give you a really good example of this. If you're patrolling for influencers, so if you think about the industry I'm in, I am recruiting people who are burnt out of what they're doing today, but they're extremely motivated to do something different. So Jessica is a pharmacist who's helping burnt out pharmacists. She's a speaker, she's a podcaster, and she does podcasts about supporting burnt out pharmacists. So do you think that by following her and commenting in her feed, it's going to attract prospects for me? Absolutely. So she makes a post today and how excited she is about becoming associate professor. So what I'm going to do is say, congratulations, Jessica. You should be so proud. Now, what's going to happen with this post? I am instinctually and wanting to support her, but also keep in mind with her large network, this post was just made, and maybe we'll revisit this in training at a later day so you guys can see how this manifested. But when I post, congratulations, Jessica, you should be so proud, you're also going to see that I built a sustainable six-figure business through the power of LinkedIn right now. So if she has a huge following of people who are burnt out, most pharmacists are making six figures. And if they come down and get into the conversation, they're going to see my headline. I don't know how many times I can underscore to you guys how important your headline is. People are going to see that over the next 2 or 3 days, and they're going to send me requests to connect. They're going to be curious about what I'm doing. And I'm going to respond, and I'm going to ask them what it was that piqued their interest to connect with me, and they're going to say your tagline was captivating, right? So you have to make sure your tagline, you can play with it, but that it's attractive and descriptive and recruiting for you. Okay. I want to make sure I covered everything there. Now, your goal, guys, and this is your homework for this module, and that is that you need to, by the end of this week, I would love to see you strive for 500 plus connections. And if you're starting from scratch and you don't have a LinkedIn profile and you've just started, then give yourself a little bit of a break. But your goal to really maximize the LinkedIn platform is to have at least 500. You're going to come across as influential. Your network's going to begin to open up for you. I'm continually growing mine. I'm approaching 2,000 right now. So if you start the habit of connecting with 10 to 15 a day, so if you connect with 10 that LinkedIn suggests, you connect with 10 that you search for in the search fields when you go into search and you type different influencers or people that you want to connect with. Also, people that you meet out in belly to belly, right? I do that a lot. I connect with people on LinkedIn. A lot of people who are growing a network marketing business, they're busy connecting on Instagram and Facebook. I connect on LinkedIn because I'm recruiting for the business. I'm not necessarily recruiting for a product. I'm recruiting for people who want to grow a business. So I want them to see my power and my influence and the value. I want them to see my virtual business card with my profile for just the street credibility of what I have to offer. So we want to get up to 500 connections. Make sure your connections have, personal verbiage in it where you've looked at their profile. Now the question is, should you accept requests from people that you don't know? And I think, for me, I click on people's profiles and see what we have in common and want to understand why they requested to connect. So yes, I recruit cold market, like exclusively for the past 2 years. Everyone I recruited for my business, I did not know before LinkedIn. So that should inspire you, especially if you're in network marketing, that you don't have to be recruiting your friends and family. I am accepting requests of people to connect with me, but I'm just kind of cross-checking to see what we have in common, and I'm asking them why they're interested in connecting with me, what captivated them or piqued their interest. So you want to make sure that you just kind of sift out why they're connecting with you. Now, who should you be connecting with? Who are you looking for to connect with? You want to connect with people who are going to bring you value. They're going to inspire you, and you want to do the same thing, right? You want to connect with people who are highly influential, that have really large networks. I made a really big post 2 years ago when I first retired from corporate America, and I had a general manager for a pharmaceutical company, which, if you know those titles, they're like the top of the top of the top, who actually supported and congratulated my post, and it went viral. I had thousands of views and comments. So you want people behind you like that. You never know who within their network is going to have a peek at what they're supporting and really get drawn in from your headline. And then obviously you want to connect with people in your network that you know personally. So LinkedIn has a functionality where it can go to your email list, your contact list, and you can export or import those networks. And that's actually a really great way to get started. And then just people that you have things in common with, searching groups, searching hashtags, and searching keywords, and looking to recruit and looking to connect with them. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about LinkedIn posts and activities and what you should be putting in there. So for LinkedIn posts and activities, you want to show thought leadership. You also want to show passion, and really the purpose of your LinkedIn post is to create personal brand. You want to bring value to people. When they're coming into LinkedIn, they're looking to be inspired. They're looking for opportunity. People who are in there, I liken them to people who listen to a lot of podcasts. They're open to development, personal development. So how can you attract the right clients? So you don't want to be overtly salesy. So let's say you're in real estate. Maybe you want to post, a really great article about what's going on in the real estate market today. And you could at the bottom, and prompt people to message you to learn more. I still think that's a little overly salesy. I think you get a lot further if you just provide value. And then if people like or comment on your post, then you can follow up with them and ask them if they would like to learn more. So every time you're coming into LinkedIn, you want to ask yourself, what can I do to provide value and create brand for my network? And so a lot of the feedback I get from people that I've recruited for my business is that you are just a breath of fresh air. Like your posts are inspiring. When I would come in there, I'd always smile at what you had to put in there. I wasn't really sure what your business was, but you looked really happy doing what you were doing. Well, my tactic is I'm looking to inspire and recruit burnt out professionals. So that's kind of my avatar, right? So it makes sense that's what I'm putting out there. Maybe you're in insurance. So maybe you want to post an article about insurance rates. Maybe you want to talk about, you just want to bring value. If you're in finance, maybe you want to add you want to put an article in there that really talks about something latest and greatest in investments, okay? But and when you're doing that on the weekly, you're providing brand, personal brand, you're providing value. People begin to follow you and like you and know you and trust you, so that when they are ready to purchase, they think of you. So, I can't tell you how many people I've had, ongoing back and forths of likes and comments and messages that at the time was not the right time for them. And I just enrolled a guy last month who his wife connected with me a year ago and knew my brand, knew what I was doing. She had been a medical science liaison and still is in the pharmaceutical industry that I was in. And she just got to a point last month where enough was enough. And she actually recruited her husband to join my business and grow a business so that they can become more financially free. Why am I sharing this story with you? I'm sharing this story with you because people don't just buy your product on day one. People don't just know and trust and believe you on day one. This woman had been following me. We had been in conversations through Messenger, through the phone for a year. And it wasn't until she got to a point in her life where what I had to offer was of value to her and she was ready. And so that's why being consistent on LinkedIn is so important. You have to be in it for the long haul and establishing brand. And what's really cool is that not a lot of people are. Even though there's a lot of people in there, not a lot of people post. They scroll. So if you're consistent and you're active, you're going to be top of thought and brand for services and products that you provide, okay? And the thing is, you can use scheduling tools that allow you to post in LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook all at the same time. That's for another conversation. But it doesn't have to be redundant. You can be creating content, and I actually create content once a week and then try to post them throughout the week for my platforms. Again, that's for a whole nother conversation. Okay, so we talked about posting daily. It creates familiarity. People get to know you. Another just word to the wise is use a captivating lead sentence. So what problem are you trying to solve, right? So like my post that got 3,000 views, the very first sentence was, I used to get up at 4:30 in the morning to exercise. That hits a lot of people like right in the heart because they have to as well. It's a pain point, right? So how can you relate to their pain point, whether it's with investments, whether it's with real estate, whether, whatever your service is. And then how can you add value, right? And how can you inspire? Now, there is a word maximum on posts. You're going to find this out quick enough. So if you're an expert in field and if you already write blogs, you can actually create articles on LinkedIn and post those, and they have no limit. So you can post an article, and you can pull a blog that you've been writing, and you can cross-post in LinkedIn. So that's a great way to provide value and become a thought leader, is to really create value through articles and information. You can get huge traction there. Lastly, on just what you can do to provide value, I'm going to stop sharing the screen here for a minute. Lastly, what you can do is you can do lives. There is a live function in LinkedIn, just like there's a live function with Instagram and Facebook. But the thing is, a lot of people aren't using it. People on LinkedIn are concerned about, they're overly concerned about how they come across because it's a professional platform where they're employed. And I've gotten a lot of traction because I don't care. And most of you don't either, because you are entrepreneurs who are growing a business, and you are your boss. And it really is empowering for others on LinkedIn to see you own that and come on video and not care what the world has to say or think about what you have to say, or whether your makeup is perfect, or whether you accidentally say a cuss word, because they're so wound up tight in their cubicles, in their offices where there's policies and there's red tape, that they're actually inspired by the freedom of your tongue and your ability to say what you want to say and what's on your mind. And videos get a ton of traction. So don't be afraid to get bold and go in there and entertain your network with a fun, authentic video, and have fun with it. Don't try to be, depending on your profession, you don't have to be, ridiculously buttoned up, right? LinkedIn is not what it used to be. So lives, post daily, articles are a great way to create influence. And so that's where I'm going to wrap up today. So your challenge and your homework is to begin crafting content that you can put out there that's going to provide value to your network and engage your network. And your second action item is to begin connecting and growing your network to 500 or more. So those are your 2 homework assignments for today. I hope this segment's been valuable, and we'll see you tomorrow.